We research the Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary. My name is Samina Engel.
My name is Anaí Beza.
My name is Alexis Cruz.
So first, we will begin with a little background on the Chumash tribe. The Chumash tribe's homeland is along the coast of California, between Malibu and Paso Robles, as well as off the coast on the northern Channel Islands. In fact, the Chumash were the first human inhabitants of the Channel Islands and Santa Monica mountain areas. The Chumash are known to have lived here for thousands of years. There have been numerous archaeological sites that have been uncovered in the past decade, and some of them date back to 15,000 years ago.
So here you can see exactly where the sanctuary would be located. It's along the coast of Southern California from Cambria to Lompoc near Santa Barbara. And it's like near Santa Barbara, but not actually in there. It's just the biggest city around it. It'll cover 156 miles of coastline, as well as 7,670 square miles of ocean. This includes the beach as well as all the way far out into the ocean. It's also located between two sanctuaries already, in between the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, which is on top of it, and the Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary, which is on the bottom. So all of these three combined will result in 15,000 square miles of marine life protected, since it expands so far out.
So here is a video we found, which
We'll pull it up right now.
We're standing in front of part of what would be the proposed Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary. It would close the gap between the Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary and the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, and ban offshore oil, natural gas extraction, seismic testing, and pollution off the waters of our coasts. This is the first tribally led nominated marine sanctuary put forth by a coalition of like-minded NGOs, environmental activists, and tribal communities.
The Chumash have been the stewards and guardians since time immemorial by Western archaeology, approximately 20,000 years. The amazing thing about this movement is that we have come from a very small, under-resourced community, grassroots movement, and we have been working hand in hand with the Chumash tribe.
The Chumash people are ocean-going people. We lived by the ocean. It sustained us through food and through trade and through ceremony. One of our sacred places here for the Chumash people is what we call Li'isamu, and that's Morro Rock. It's one of the sacred places for our people to journey, to pray for solstice ceremony, for winter and summer solstice ceremony.
This is part of the California Current, which starts up in Alaska and comes all the way down to Baja, Mexico. That current carries the food web that we rely on. And with this big open space that does not have National Marine Sanctuary designation and protection, it's a big hole where so many things could go wrong.
If the Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary is designated, it would provide increased protection for some of our most significant keystone species. The southern sea otter, which makes its home over by Morro Rock, is one of the main species that will benefit from the sanctuary. All the whales, all the marine invertebrates. You'll see the great pelicans here. You'll see the snowy egrets and the blue herons.
In this area that we're trying to get designated, we are seeing the impacts of global climate change in temperature rising, sea level rising, and the ocean acidification in particular is being found at 2 times the amount of the world's oceans. This is a project that brings together inclusion, environmental justice, indigenous communities, and underserved communities. It's powerful.
Some of our elders have spent their whole life trying to protect the coastline, trying to protect the sacred sites. We would say that our ancestors are always with us. They're in the ocean, they're in the water, they're in the air we breathe, they're in the sea, they're in the sparkles on the water.
Okay, sorry about that stutter back there. Hopefully you guys liked that video and found it informative.
So about the Chumash tribe. This area was first settled around 15,000 years ago. Over time, the population increased and the people adapted their lifestyle to make most of their local environment. There were different resources among the villages along the coastline, the island, and in the inland areas, and so they traded with each other. Before the mission period, the Chumash lived in 150 independent towns and villages, with a total population of at least 25,000 people. The mission period was when Californian missions began establishment in the late 18th century, an effort to convert Native Americans to Catholics. In different parts of this region, people spoke 6 different but related languages. The livelihood of the Chumash people was based upon the natural resources that were available to them, such as plants, fish, and local animals. The Chumash are a maritime culture of hunters and gatherers. Chumash people were not dependent upon farming as were other Native American tribes. The most notable thing is that they were able to sustainably use each of their resources. Their ancestors found uses for almost every type of plant and animal available, with uses for food, clothing, medicine, baskets, canoes, and tools. Acorns, seeds, bulbs, roots, and nuts were seasonal staples and animals as well, such as bears, seals, otters, shellfish, deer, and rabbits, which all are part of that land. In addition, their natural environment has inspired their beautiful and unique art, which is a special part of the tribe. A little bit about the Chumash lifestyle. At one time, there were hundreds of separate Chumash settlements in Santa Barbara. Some villages were as large as towns, while others were quite small. The villages were built on high ground near lagoons, creeks, lakes, or springs to have access to water. The largest towns were built along the mainland coast near the Santa Barbara Channel. This happens to be the center of the land that they are trying to reclaim. Some other Native tribes have had similar customs, but no other Native Americans live the exact same way as the Chumash people, which is why they are a unique tribe to research. They invented a plank canoe to utilize their natural resource of the ocean. The canoes they used enabled endless fishing and trade, and they were able to travel up and down the coast to other villages. That's why the marine sanctuary is so important to the Chumash tribe members. What also made the Chumash tribe unique is their extraordinary baskets, tools, beadwork, customs, and beliefs, and their craftsmanship. To utilize their resources, they constructed homes made out of local plant materials, and Chumash homes were called up. In addition, baskets and mats are woven, and bows and plants are used for tools and clothing. The Chumash learned to be extremely innovative and resourceful, and found uses for everything that was available, including each part of almost every plant. They were very sustainable with their resources. This is what makes reclaiming their land so important to the Chumash tribe members. The Chumash also developed a variety of games which were designed to teach the young about sportsmanship and skills useful for hunting and making crafts. Stories are told to teach the children about their relationship with nature and their cultural and religious beliefs. The Chumash have a very rich culture, and we will cover the importance of this later on. The Chumash culture has been considered one of the most unique and advanced in the continent, and there is much to learn from these people who have had a strong bond between each other and the Earth's natural resources. This land is what they depended on for survival. So a little bit about the Yak Tityu Tityu Yak tribe. They are part of the Chumash tribe, specifically the Northern Chumash. This tribe is an acknowledged tribe by California Native American Heritage Commission. They have been around just as long as the Chumash. Since they have inhabited this area so long, they will do anything to fight for their homeland. They have survived the mission period and the American colonization of their land, and they are determined to protect their land. They have battled through direct and indirect genocide of their people, but remain true to their culture and homeland. They are the strongest advocates in this proposed project. They take great responsibility in preserving their culture and sharing with future generations. The members have done a great job in voicing their suggestions of how to preserve their land.
So I will talk about the when, and I split it up into 3 parts: before, after the Spanish contact, and now. So before the Spanish expedition or Spanish contact, the Chumash people were called the first people who called the Pacific Ocean their home. Their territory once ranged 7,000 miles from beaches in Malibu to Paso Robles, and they used sea and land resources. The Chumash ancestors were hunters, gatherers, fishermen, and then later they advanced to boat making, basketry, stone cookware, and storing and harvesting abilities. And there were also women who had equal opportunities to fill these roles. And the Chumash also used caves for religious ceremonies and drawings. And you can see that in the picture here in the top left corner, as well as their villages in the top right corner. So after the Spanish contact, in 1769, there was the Gaspar de Portola Spanish expedition in Baja California, which in turn created 5 missions built. In 1831, there were 2,788 Chumash reported in missions compared to the 22,000 Chumash that existed pre-Spanish contact. In 1834, there was a mission secularization, where Mexico did not distribute remaining land with the remaining or surviving Chumash as they had promised. So this in turn caused the population to continue declining. In the 1870s, the Chumash were dominated by Anglo culture, and their lands were now tourist places, and the remaining Chumash worked on area farms or ranches. So now the Chumash survivors helped tribe overcome modern life adversities and rise to economic self-sufficiency. So the revenue they get from gaming property has helped them revitalize their culture and has helped the Chumash reside on their tribal lands again. So the resources there they use are devoted to education, health, and culture. And the Chumash are creating projects to decolonize, such as this one we are researching about, which is the proposed Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary. However, things may not be what they seem.
So CHNMS will protect the Chumash sacred sites. It'll protect many animals that are cherished in the culture, and in general, just keep the area clean and safe. This proposal will restrict fishing, dropping oil, like companies dropping oil, and watercraft that uses the same type of oil, like jet skis and boats and things like that. But it's not limited to other water sports that don't have this kind of oil, like canoeing. And canoeing is also closely related in the Chumash culture, so that would be okay. There are many tourists in this area that fish and leave trash and just in general do other things that create pollution to the environment. And this position will help eliminate that, as well as that will help keeping the marine life safe. Some people disapprove of this proposal because of where it's located. It has like a camping site, and many fishing sites that these people don't want to lose. But they don't know that this proposal won't eliminate them from using that land whatsoever. It only limits them to enjoy the land and the ocean in a more sustainable way that will help preserve culture and the environment for future generations and for ancestors alike. The key thing here is that this is just a proposal. It has not actually been implemented yet due to lack of funding, but recently the Biden-Harris administration are moving forward with this proposal and a few others, so it should be implemented by winter of next year. So the Northern Chumash Council, this was the biggest issue we discovered while within the research of CHNMS.
So now that you all have an idea of what it means to be part of the Chumash tribe and what they represent, I wanted to bring it to your attention that there are fake Chumash members that are helping with this proposed Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary. You may be asking yourself, is that a good or a bad thing? The answer is that it is a bad thing and it is disrespectful to the true Chumash tribe members.
As effective as this proposal could be, it would be way more effective if it was actually ran by real registered members of the Chumash tribe, since it holds most significance to the true members. They know the real history behind the land and they know what's important to their culture, so it is important that they have a say in these things. They should really be the ones in charge of this proposal, but the non-Chumash members are making it a challenge for them to have their voices heard more easily. So why do they want to propose CHNMS? There are many animals that are symbols in the Chumash heritage that need to be protected that are in the water, such as the dolphin. Also within this area of the ocean is one of the last and largest kelp forests that scientists know about. So it's important that that's protected as well. As stated before, the ocean is deeply cherished in the Chumash culture. It protects also companies from dropping oils in these areas. All of these things will also help combat climate change, which isn't quite the point of this presentation, but it's definitely a plus. It's also very important to note that this isn't just about biodiversity and the climate, which is a great factor, but it's more about the spiritual health and healing for the Chumash people and their ancestors. It's important for us to preserve our land and environment for future generations to inherit and enjoy.
So what makes CHNMS decolonization and what is the significance? So as I previously stated, the Chumash were pushed out of their lands. The Chumash were living on Anglo land, which doesn't make sense because it should have been the other way around. Anglos living on Chumash land. So the process of decolonization is for the Chumash to reclaim their lands and utilize the resources there for significant uses such as education, health, and culture, which was previously mentioned. The Chumash were disconnected from their cultures, so this process helps them get in touch once again, and revitalize their culture in order to gain sovereignty over their lands once again.
Okay, so yeah, that was all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.